Plow and Pantry people. Welcome to March Canning Madness. This is a collaboration with Constance over at Cosmopolitan Cornbread. She has done March Canning Madness on and off for years, channel I've loved to watch for years. And this year she decided to make it a collaboration. So in March, you'll be seeing a whole bunch of canning going on, which is perfect timing because I have had a lot of requests for more canning recipes from you guys. So this month I'll be sharing some more family favorites and doing some of your requests. Today I am making sweet and sour sauce. And I just wanted to go over with you what I have here. I'm doing my mom's recipe that I grew up with. And because of that, I'm going to be pressure canning this in my digital pressure canner. I'm pretty sure it is very acidic. I'm pretty sure it's acidic enough to water bath can, but just because it's my own recipe, I always like to be safe and pressure can when I'm doing my own recipe. So sweet and sour sauce has, well, there's lots of recipes out there, but here's what I put in mine. I grew up with, so we have sugar. I'm going to put a little bit of pineapple. I prefer crushed. A lot of people put like the chunks of pineapple. You do want to use canned. And I will put a little bit of crushed. I like a smoother sauce. And I will be opening this and draining it and reserving the juice to use. And just in case I don't have enough juice, I do have some of these little canned juices. You do want to use canned pineapple juice if you put pineapple juice in your sweet and sour sauce if you're canning it, because there's an enzyme in fresh pineapple that will break down your gelling agent. So you want to make sure that you have the right kind. I do have some chopped onions and bell peppers here from the freezer. These are still frozen. I went over this in a previous video in August during the Every Bit Counts challenge. This is something I do every summer with my onions and peppers extra when I don't have time to do other things with them. I will just chop them and freeze them, and I use them in a lot of omelets and things like that. So I'm just going to use a combination of my onions and bell peppers here since I don't have fresh bell peppers on hand and I don't want to go to the store for just bell peppers. I've got some garlic. I'm just going to use the bottled kind here. I have soy sauce. We have a little bit of chicken broth. I have not seen a lot of recipes out there with chicken broth in it for sweet and sour sauce, but that's one of them. For vinegar, most recipes called for distilled white vinegar. I am going to use a combination of that and apple cider vinegar because I do like the flavor of apple cider vinegar. You can swap out the vinegar so long as your apple cider vinegar also has the same acidity, which is 5% in this case. Rice vinegar would be a great flavor as well, but its acidity is lower. So if I wasn't canning this, I was just going to put it in the fridge and use it, then maybe I would do the rice vinegar, but not for canning because that acidity is lower. I have an extra here because there's not that much apple cider vinegar there. I have some tomato paste. A lot of recipes call for fresh tomato. I prefer to use the tomato paste. Again, the smoother consistency, and this is just what I grew up with. It also makes it a little more red, and I kind of like that in a sweet and sour sauce, but I'm not willing to put the red food coloring in, which is what all the bottled sweet and sour sauces have. That's the only reason they're red. I have the last item here is clear gel. This is cook type clear gel. So if I were just making this to use tonight, I would just use cornstarch. That's what I normally use. But because I'm canning it, I'm using clear gel. Cornstarch is not considered safe for canning just because of the way it breaks down. Clear gel is, but there are two types. There's instant and there's cook type. And if you're canning with it, you want to use the cook type. I got this at an Amish store that's about half an hour away from me. If you don't have a store like that nearby, you can get this online. I can drop an Amazon link below to one that I've used before. It's not, at the Amish store, it's not very expensive. It's $3.95 a pound. This is less than a pound. So this was $2.57 for all of this. Is more than I can use in a couple years. So those are my ingredients. My salt is already over there. Let's get started cooking this stuff together over on the stove. Okay, I'm going to bring all my ingredients over here, but I'm going to start by sauteing this up. And I'm actually just going to spray my pan because I need a little bit of oil to keep the bell peppers and onions from sticking and stuff, but I don't want to put a lot of grease and fat into this because that messes with the canning seal. So I'm going to use a cup of this mixture. So if I were using If I were using bell peppers and onions separately, like I had gotten them from the store and was using them fresh, I would use a half a cup of each. I'm just going to use a cup of the whole mixture and get this back into the freezer, and I'm going to open up my pineapple and drain it. Okay, I'm going to sit this over a bowl so I can collect the juice separate. And I'm not going to be using this whole can of pineapple. You could, if you were, I'm mostly making this to dip like egg rolls and stuff like that. If I was making it specifically for like sweet and sour chicken, I might go ahead and use the pineapple chunks and use all of it, and that's fine to do. But I'm going to get this going in here so I can use that juice. And I also want to, I'm just getting these a little cooked. Since they were frozen, they're already going to be a little softer. That's fine in this case because they would get soft in the canning and cooking process anyways. I'm not worried about the crisp texture of the bell peppers and onions. I had looked, I was originally thinking, because I have onions, I was originally thinking I would get some freeze-dried bell peppers from my pantry downstairs, but apparently I'm out of those. And I'm actually going to get a little bit of this pineapple itself. So I'm trying to make sure I don't get too much of the liquid out to also go in here. Okay, it's not, doesn't look like that much, but it's a good amount. So I'm going to start adding in some of my other ingredients. Let me get them. Okay. All right, I'm going to put in my chicken broth. I will type this recipe out in the description box, by the way. It was a cup of chicken broth. I'm going to do a cup of sugar. This is just regular granulated sugar. Okay, I'm going to do half and half with my vinegar combination. So I'm going to do like a half cup of white vinegar and then a half cup of apple cider vinegar for a total of 1 cup. Most recipes have equal parts of, most sweet and sour recipes have equal parts of vinegar and sugar. It's a little bit short on that. Top it off with this one. Okay, put these away. I also, I'm just letting that start to boil as I add things. It's kind of like a, just cook as you go. Get it boiling is the point. I'm going to open up the tomato paste here. I'm going to use half a cup total. And I was feeling like this can would be just short of half. So I brought 2 cans up. Tomato paste is one of those things that I don't can myself. I did one time and I felt like it took so many tomatoes to make one tiny little bit of paste. I think I processed down like 30 pounds of tomatoes and got like not even a cup of paste. And so I decided I would use my tomatoes from all my other products. You know, we've got the canned tomatoes, tomatoes at green chilies, spaghetti sauce, barbecue sauce, ketchup. I make all the things with all of our other tomato products, but I will buy the tomato paste. I don't use that much of it during the year, so I didn't feel like it was worth my thing. That ended up being just under a can, actually. I think when I brought 2 cans up, I was thinking that I was going to need a cup of it, not half a cup. Okay. Get this swirled in there and dissolved. I'm just getting it broken up, letting it get in there all throughout. Okay, I'm going to add in the soy sauce and garlic. Just a couple teaspoons of soy sauce, about 2, not a whole lot. And the same with garlic. I'm not going to use that much. Probably about half tablespoon right there. Okay. Looking at it, I think I want to add a tiny bit more pineapple. Maybe I should have done equal parts onion, bell pepper, pineapple. Just getting this going. Okay, I'm going to add like half a teaspoonish of salt. You know what I forgot to put on the counter that I use? I'm looking at, I've got my recipe right above you. Orange juice. Orange juice goes in here. Let me grab that. Got my measuring cup here. Okay, half a cup of orange juice. This is just boiling away here. So the last thing I need to add is the pineapple juice with the clear gel. So let's see how much juice I got here. Get another bowl for this. I want half a cup of pineapple juice. And that was plenty. I don't need to open a can. And I need a quarter cup of clear gel. Now, one of the advantages of clear gel over cornstarch is that it thickens really quickly. So I'll know pretty early whether I need to add more. But it works best if you either dissolve it in your sugar or in a liquid when you add it. Kind of like cornstarch does. Works that way too. Just going to get this mixed up into a slurry. And feel some chunks on the bottom. There we go. I'm going to add it into my mixture here and stir it in. That is already thickened and it looks perfect. I don't need to add any more. That is great. Now I've got my jars in the dishwasher. I'm going to get them out. I had them getting hot in there. Even though I'm pressure canning this, hot food goes in hot jars and the pressure canner should have hot water. Same if you're water bathing. If you're water bath canning, I believe it's 30 minutes time on this. Since I'm pressure canning, I go with the item that takes the longest from the ingredients in the pressure canner to be on the safe side, and that would be bell pepper at 35 minutes. So I'm going to get this into jars and get those jars into the pressure canner. Smells so good. Okay, I just pulled these out of the dishwasher. They're nice and hot. Get my sauce over here. Love winter because I'm wearing sweaters, so I can always handle hot pots. Get my funnel. My favorite canning ladle. We're looking for a 1/2 inch headspace on these, and I have a couple. I have 3 of these smaller jars because we will likely just use this for dipping. And then I also have 1 pint jar just in case I have enough, which would be a larger amount to use for something like sweet and sour chicken. Okay. It's always messy. Okay. I'm gonna switch over here to the spatula. All right, so that was not enough for this one. So I'm just gonna put this in the fridge to use making egg rolls this week. Actually, Let me debubble and check first. I'm going to say that this one's a little bit low, I think. Half inch. I'm going to say, yep. Okay. So this is about half, so I could have made 4 of these. So 4 half-pint jars is what this recipe makes. Get my vinegar to wipe the rims. And I'll go ahead and wipe this one even though I'm not canning it just because it's messy. All right. Lids and rings on. These have been sitting in hot water, not boiling, but hot to soften the adhesive on them. And then fingertip tight on those jars. This one doesn't matter. I'm going to leave this out till it cools room temperature before I put it in the fridge. All right, I'm going to get my canner over here and ready to get these into it. I did go over the specifics of how I use this canner in a previous video. I think it was a chicken broth video. I will link that for you if you want to see my how, why, where, all the details about when I use this. It's great for smaller batches, not having to get my All-American out, that type of thing. I always put my extra vinegar in there because I have hard water. Okay. Set it to exhaust. And we're going to be 35 minutes because of those peppers. I'll see you when it comes out. Thank you guys for joining me today for the March Canning Madness kickoff. I will continue to upload 3 videos a week during March, and at least one of those each week will be a canning video, so keep checking back for more. I will link Cosmopolitan Cornbread's channel below so you can check out the playlist that Constance is putting together with all the participants.